Hello, thanks very much for joining me again. Today, for our still water pattern, I'm going to tie a variation on the ever popular cormorant fly. Now, the hook in the vise is a Hanak H200 barbless hook. I really like this hook for pulling flies because it's got a very long point. You can see here it's needle sharp and it's really long, so I like this for pulling and I use it quite a bit. So the thread I'm going to be using today is the Vivis E01 and it's a black thread. And first thing I'm going to do is just get a little bit of wax onto my thread before casting on. Now I'm going to start about a couple of millimeters back from the eye and just use my rat's tail here to help guide my thread down the shank. And just before I get to the end, I'm just going to snip that away. And I'm going to catch in some red prismatic tinsel. Now it's just red hollow tinsel. I've already cut a little bit off. And I'm just going to catch that in with a couple of turns. And bring my thread to where the barb would be on a barbed hook. Then I can come all the way back up to where I started. Next thing then, I'm going to bring my holographic tinsel all the way up the shank of the hook. Try and make sure that you cover all the black. Doesn't matter if it overlaps slightly. Just take your time. Bring it all the way up to the top of the fly. So just bring your thread over a couple of times to catch that. And then you can snip that excess away, like so. Just remove that from my fingers. Then you can just catch that, tidy it up a little bit at the front. Okay, so next thing then, I'm going to add my hotspot. Now, you can get it comes in various colours. It's called laser UV resin, and you can see here this is the orange fluorescent, but you do get it in pink, very good for grayling bugs, or you get it in red. So you can take your pick with the colours, but I'm going to use the orange today. Now it really needs a good shaking up before you do anything else, and it can be a bit of a pain to apply, to be perfectly honest. It's quite a runny resin, and you've got to really be careful that you don't get it all over the place. So I'll give that a good shake now, and I'm going to just try and get a dot onto my needle. Now, when you start out with this, you can just build it up and be careful not to get too much on. So that's the key to the whole thing. It's a bit of time and patience. I'm just going to release my vise so I can turn it round and work the resin around the fly until I've got a nice little hot spot going on there. Then I can come in with this and cure off the resin spot. Doesn't take much. And then top side. And what you're trying to get is a little sort of rugby ball shape up here, rather than a big glob of resin. So once you've got that cured off, make sure your thread's as far to the front of the hook as you can get it. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of the, this is Trout Line's transparent resin. It's a very thin resin. I'm sorry the label's a bit worn, but it's very good for peregrine nymphs. So what I'm going to do is just give the whole thing a coat with this. Again, it's a very runny resin, so you've just got to be careful with the amount that comes out of the tube. And again, that can be worked all the way up and down the fly. And there's two reasons for applying the resin. The first one being you're getting some protection on your holographic tinsel, and the second reason is you get a nice finish on the fly. It gives it a little bit of shine and reflectiveness in the water. So that's why we add the second layer of resin, and I'm just going to cure that off now. And this is a fly that I just stuck out. It was a random photograph I put on Facebook after a visit to Loch Inch Fisheries, Dave Murray's place, and this fly was stand out for me up there. It really worked a treat, and I tried various different cormorants, but this one was stand out for me. So I thought I'd share the pattern with you. So I've cured that off now. That's nice and dry, and what I'm going to use is some black. This is the Spey Hunter marabou. I've already taken a marabou feather out, and I'm simply going to use my thumbnail as a guide. So I want to take about a thumbnail's pinch off the stem. Now when I transfer it to my other hand, and I want to try and keep my the tips of my fibres as much as possible. So I'm just going to measure it up, and then I'm going to snip away. Then what I like to do next is just give it a little lick at the end. So see, I've now got it all raggedy there, but I'll simply just come in and tidy that up again. So with this, I like to just add a little bit of wax to the thread. Doesn't take much, just to help grip the marabou. And bring a loop over to pinch it in. Lick my thumb and forefinger, slick all this back out the way, then start building my head. Once I'm content that I've got a nice shaped head there at the front of the fly, I'm just going to put a couple of half hitches in, or as ever, if you're one of these clever people that can use a whip finish tool, you can whip finish at this point. And I can trim that away, and to finish off the head, I'm going to use some of my Solaris. This is the one, if you recall, with the little brush, and I really like this for finishing off. Again, if I just loosen off my vise, I can work that resin around the head of the fly. Like so. Then again, I can come in and simply cure the head. And last but not least, I'm going to come with my thumb and forefinger in my right hand, pinch it down about half a centimetre behind the hook bend, and remove my excess tail. and there we have the finished fly. Like I say, it worked really well on a small still water, but I dare say it will do a turn for you on Rutland or Grapham and any of the big reservoirs. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. How to do it.